sports.
We are the North. We are the West.
10 days ago, the Rangers headed out on a daunting three-city tour. Along the way, Hamels outdueled Verlander. We witnessed two Major League debuts. The ageless wonder treated us to another masterful performance. And we saw our youth take another step toward their bright futures. Today, the end of the road trip has arrived. It's the finale with the White Sox, hoping to return to Arlington with a W in tow.
Well, welcome to Chicago one final time as the Big Chill, quite possibly feeling a big chill. It's a cold one here today. Rangers and White Sox final game in this four-game series. Welcome in, everybody. Great to be with you. I'm Dave Raymond alongside the man on his Sunday best today, Tom Grieve, and we're looking forward to the final game of the series, a chance for the Rangers to split the four-gamer, and as we were just pointing out there in that tease, we've covered a lot of ground in these 10 days.
Yeah, it feels like we jammed more into 10 days than 10 days, but let's take a look at some of the highlights of this road trip. The Rangers are 3-5 so far, but we've seen the Major League debuts of Brandon Mann and Ariel Jurado. The bullpen has pitched very well. Chavez, Diekman, Mann, they haven't allowed a run. Jurickson Profar just seems to get better and better. He's hit 5 doubles, knocked in 6, scored 5, and Mr. Steady, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, he scored 6 runs and had a 400 on base percentage and made all the plays. In this series, we've gotten a really good look at Jose Abreu. He's gone 6 for 10. He's hit 3 doubles, hit a home run last night. He's driven in 4 runs. Right now, he's on a 10-game hitting streak, hitting close to 450 over those 10 games. And against the Rangers in his career, he's a 345 hitter, one of the best hitters in the league.
Yeah, he's been a great challenge in this series, obviously, for the Rangers. And so today, we'll look to Mike Minor to see if he can figure him out.
Yeah, when you look at Mike's record, look at the numbers, they don't stand out. But at the same time, there's been most of the time this year, he's thrown the ball really well. Last year, against the White Sox, in relief for Kansas City, he appeared 5 times, had a nice ERA, 159. Opponent's batting average below 200, 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. Pitching on 4 days rest for the second time. Hopefully Mike will be on today and the Rangers can go home with a win.
All right, so the lefty trying to get it done today. We'll put him in the spotlight because you might be asking yourself, what do the White Sox do against lefties? We'll find out in a minute.
Rangers baseball is brought to you by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. And by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency.
Well, here we are, Guaranteed Rate Field, the final of 4 this afternoon. Rangers need a win to earn a split in this series. And it is time for our Shiner Box Spotlight today.
We're showing minors who went to break. The lefty has the start today, and whether or not you were asking that question today, what do the White Sox do against lefties? Well, here it is. They are worst in the American League. Lowest batting average, OPS, extra base hits, RBIs. Well, they're one team with more strikeouts per plate appearance. So it has been a tough go for the White Sox against lefties. Mike Minor hoping to exploit that weakness this afternoon. So maybe that a little bit of good news to get us started. Speaking of getting us started, when we come back, we'll take a look at the starting lineup. Get you ready for today's game. Field just about set to get this one started this afternoon. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Dave, because Cole Hamels was scratched from his start in this series, that shuffled the rotation a bit. So Jeff Bannister did give us the probables for the series against the Yankees back in Arlington. They look like this. Cologne will go on Monday in Game 1. Then it will be Hamels, followed by Pfister in the finale. As for the next series, the opener of that one Thursday, that one is still to be determined. Ariel Arado was sent back down to the minors to make room for Chris Martin in the bullpen. So that Thursday start is TBD. Most likely candidates Yohander Mendez or Austin Bibbins-Dirks, but still a lot of time between now and then, Dave.
Okay, thanks, Emily. Stay warm down there as we get ready to get this one going. A look at our Southwest starting lineup today for the Rangers. A slightly different look for you. Delano DeShields still up at the top spot in center field. Chu in right today, batting second. Profar shortstop, and then Nomar Mazara, the DH, bats cleanup. Gallo, Ryan Rua at first base. Rougned Odor at second. Hanser Alberto gets a start at third base, bats eighth, and Carlos Perez does the catching.
We'll take a look at the pitch arsenal for the White Sox starter, Reynaldo Lopez. Lopez, a bright young pitcher with a nice future. Only 24 years old, loves his fastball, and it's a good one. It can reach the mid-90s. Nice changeup, curveball, and a slider. He came over from Washington in the Adam Eaton trade, along with Lucas Giolito and a minor league pitcher right now, Dane Dunning. White Sox acquired 3 young starting pitchers and hope that they can be part of their future. They traded one of their veteran players, Adam Eaton, to get those 3. And for the White Sox defensively, Leury Garcia's in left, Adam Engels in center, Trace Thompson gets the start in right field. In the infield, over at third base, Yolmer Sanchez Tim Anderson's at shortstop. Yohan Moncada is at second. Jose Abreu is at first, and behind the plate is Wellington Castillo.
All right, set to go. Rangers, they have, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, there have been some days at this ballpark where they have opened it up a little bit offensively, other days where they have really struggled as Lopez gets us going with a 96-mile-per-hour fastball for strike one. The Rangers hoping to get that offense started quickly today, maybe a little bit like they did on Friday when they scored 3 runs in the first inning. Well, if that's going to happen, Delano DeShields will go a long way were he to reach base to start things off. 325 on base percentage this year for Delano. Holds off, and it's a strike called. 1-2. Delano hitting .243, couple of home runs. Lopez, not a real big guy. 5'11", 200 pounds, but he has a lightning quick arm, and he strikes out Delano DeShields, one away. Well, we told you it was a cooler one today, and that might be understating it just a tad. 46 degrees in absolute terms with that breeze. It's a it feels a little colder. 93% humidity. Folks bundled up here, but not the Rangers fans. They're strong enough, they can handle it.
I'll tell you who's strong enough can handle it.
Ethan's.
We already showed him once in this series, and that's Ethan, our statistician. Challenged him today. He said no problem. Didn't even bring a jacket.
Well, there is that line.
He asked us, what do we do when it gets cold? I'll ask him, what does he do when it gets hot?
Yeah, I almost feel for him, because it will get warm here eventually. When it does, look out. Chu takes one inside, 1-1 the count. So Chu batting second today, getting a chance to play right field again. We saw him in right field in Houston. 0 for 2 yesterday with a couple of walks, but he has been an on-base machine again lately. And he takes a little bit low, 2-1.
That's the changeup that Lopez throws. 8 to 10 miles an hour less than his fastball, and really on that one, nice movement on it.
2-1, and Chu hits it hard on the ground, and that one through into right field, base hit. So the Rangers do have a base runner here in this first inning. Ball hit very sharply.
Yeah, that one came in from Lopez at 97 miles an hour, right down the middle of the plate. Went out harder than that from Chu. Really centered that on the barrel of the bat. Moncada had very little time to react to that rope. It was a great try, though.
So the base runner now, here is Jurickson Profar. A little fooled on that one. Started the swing, tried to stop it, and then finished it off.
That's an at-bat where Jurickson went up to the plate going, okay, I've seen the 97-mile-an-hour fastball. I better be ready for it. And then he swung at it like it was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, only it wasn't. Something 10 miles an hour slower.
Just saw there 5 RBIs in this series. He's been really productive. And hits this one high in the air, but foul. 0-2 the count on Profar. Had a double yesterday. Spending .281 on the road trip. 9 hits and 32 at bats with 5 doubles on this roadie. So he's swung it real well since we left home. With a modest lead off first base. And the Lopez pitch, a bouncer towards second base. Moncada will go to second for 1. No relay offered. So Profar stays out of the double play. 2 out. It'll bring up Nomar Mazara. We take a look at our Kubota power stats today for Reynaldo Lopez. And it's interesting, talking about the Rangers trying to get something going in the first inning. They better do it against Lopez, because that's when the getting is good. His ERA almost twice as high in the first inning. His opponent's batting average very high versus once he gets through that first.
Yeah, Lopez's ERA is pretty solid, 3.50. His last start was really his only poor start, 2 innings, 7 hits, 6 runs against Pittsburgh. Without that game, his ERA is 2.33 for the other 7 starts. So that one kind of inflated his ERA. He's been even better than the 3.50 ERA would indicate. Hasn't gotten a lot of support. Hasn't had a win yet. But the White Sox are only averaging a little over 3 runs a game for him.
Mazara very patiently waiting. That one inside. Another fastball at 97. He's got a good fastball. Lopez 10th in the American League in terms of average fastball velocity. Again, from maybe a smaller frame. 24 years old, out of the Dominican. This is his 9th start of the year. 1, and a swing and a miss.
See the nice tailing action. Not only does he have velocity, he has pretty good movement on that ball too. That's not a 4-seam fastball that's straight. That's a 2-seam fastball that has great tailing action to it. Certainly a lot to work with this kid.
Profar leaning, not going. The pitch is inside again. They continue to work him in. Lopez, there's your point, Tom. Matthew Boyd, Andrew Kasher, and Cole Hamels, the only guys receiving less run support, and Bartolo Colon not far behind there. So, yeah, a bit of a hard luck guy. Now Profar running. The pitch is inside. The throw down to second, nowhere near in time, and so Jurickson with a stolen base. His 2nd of the year.
Let's see if the Rangers can get on the board first today. Jurickson got a good jump. Castillo really had to rush his throw and really couldn't come up with a good throw. The ball bounced. So Jurickson was in there easily. See if Nomar can bring him in with a base hit.
Mazara with just 1 RBI on this road trip. Bounces this one right side of the infield. Abreu charges, feeds Lopez, and that was a close one at first. Lopez got there eyelash ahead of Mazara to end the inning.
Nomar gets down the line a little bit better than you would think. Abreu flips to the pitcher, and it's a very close play.
Now Mike Minor ready to go to work against this White Sox lineup. 12 and 29 on the year. Tim Anderson starts it off at short. Leury Garcia in left field. Jose Abreu at first. It's Davidson, Castillo, and Yoan Moncada in the middle of the order. Yolmer Sanchez, Adam Engel, and Trace Thompson, the right fielder, rounds it out. So Minor set to go. 3 wins, 2 losses. His 9th start of the year. And he's on the outside corner for a strike to Anderson. Anderson, excellent speed, just 2 hits in this series. And he's in a hole here, 0-2. Minor, a .561 earned run average, pitching on regular rest today. It's the second time he's been asked to do that this year. This one off the handle. A little bouncer right to Odor. 1 away.
Let's look at Mike Minor's pitch arsenal. Mike will feature his fastball 57% of the time, and then mix in a slider, changeup, and curveball pretty much equally. I think he uses those other 3 pitches depending on the team he's playing, the hitter he's facing, and how they're working that day. Go in a lot of different directions with his off-speed pitches. But as is the case with almost every pitcher, it all starts with your fastball. Not the velocity necessarily, but how well you locate your fastball. If you do that, everything else seems to fall in place.
Well, he misses to Garcia with the first and finds a corner there at 94 miles per hour to even things up 1-1. .259 average for Leury Garcia. Switch hitter. And he foul tips that one, strike 2. Garcia batting from the right side, where he hits .281 this year. Numbers actually just a little better against the lefties. Inside, and it's 2-2. Have 3 switch hitters in the order and all right-handers. The White Sox have had a devil of a time against left-handed pitching this year. And so Rick Renteria really stacking it with the right-handers. Stays 2-2. And I've heard some guys, not all guys, but there are some who feel like you might be giving a pitcher just a little bit of an advantage by not at least putting one like side hitter in the order against him. And at some point, even though the challenge is a little greater against right-handed pitching for a left-hander, you would want to at least give him a slightly different look every now and then. Don't let him get too comfortable, because if he can start carving off a corner, he can be really effective. Little bouncer third base. Hanser Alberto takes care of Garcia. 2 away.
Let's take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered by New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Outfield today, Joey Gallo, Delino again, and Shin-Soo Choo gets the start as Nomar is DHing. In the infield, Hanser Alberto will get the start at third base. Jurickson's at shortstop, Rugi's at second. Ryan Rua will play at first base, Carlos Perez behind the plate. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa gets the day off. He's been drilled by some pitches recently, so he's probably welcoming the chance to let his body heal. Go home for the homestand and get ready to play again. Played quite a bit. Jurickson's played a lot too. Prokar's, this is, I think, 27th, 28th straight start for him.
Here is Abreu. Guys we feature in the open. Jose Abreu, third place hitter for the White Sox, working on a 10-game hitting streak, and as you can see, not a cheap one either. 447 average. But a big factor in this series so far, and he has been a tough out for Rangers pitchers over the 4 years that he's been in the big leagues. Career 345 average against the Rangers with 7 home runs.
Good changeup right there. Fastball count. Got something other than the fastball.
So 2-2 the count. Minor ready to go. And he strikes out Abreu. So a 1-2-3. Bottom of the first for Mike Minor. No scores. We go to the second inning.
Kiner Falefa, the rookie, not looking for days off, but he'll definitely take him. Jeff Bannister saying because he's gotten hit 3 times in 3 games, felt like his body could use the time to heal up a bit. In addition to that, this team does not have an off day until June 4th, and since now he is an everyday player and has been really since he got called up, he wanted to give him a chance to get off his feet, clear his mind, and hopefully get back at it in the same groove as he was in tomorrow.
Yeah, a little day off every now and then.
Yep, good idea.
Gallo takes one inside. It's 2-0. Gallo batting 5th today. So it's a much different looking lineup this afternoon for the Rangers. Rua in there at first, and Alberto in there at third base. Carlos Perez catching. Again, looking for that inside corner, but Lopez can't find it. It's 3-0.
A much different defensive alignment against Joey by the White Sox than most other teams, particularly the Astros. They actually have an infielder on the left side of the infield.
Down low, that's ball 4. So he didn't get anything to hit there. A 4-pitch walk is how we start the second inning. Well, come on out to the ballpark for Star Wars weekend. First 15,000 fans to the park on Saturday. You're going to get a Star Wars Han Gallo bobblehead, courtesy of Medical City Healthcare. Rangers and Royals, it's a 3:05 game. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com. Gallo aboard. And here is Ryan Rua. Oh, takes a healthy rip and strike 1.
White Sox walk a lot of guys. Lopez is a little bit above the walk level you'd like to see. 4 walks per 9 innings. Carson Fulmer, Lucas Giolito, the last 2 pitchers the Rangers have seen, 2 bright young pitchers, young prospects. They're a little higher than that.
Good strike pitch. Right in there. 0-2.
The other thing Lopez is a little bit higher on is home runs. He's given up 7 home runs over about 1.5 home runs per 9 innings. A little higher than you'd like to see.
He's 0-2. Rua got the start last Sunday in Houston at first base, becoming like the Sunday first baseman. 0-for-3 in that ball game. In fact, he hit a home run against Boston. That was on the 6th of May. But is looking for his first hit since then. He's 0 for his last 8. Fielded double play depth. It's 1-2.
The other thing a White Sox staff is high in is hit batters. They've hit 27 batters. Rangers have the most. The Rangers have hit 34 batters this year.
One-two. And Rua strikes out. Second strikeout of the afternoon for Lopez. Well, talking about hit batters. These are guys getting hit by the pitch. So not only are they hitting a lot of opposing hitters, Rangers hitters have been hit 26 times. That's second most in the league. White Sox batters have been plunked 21 times.
I guess if you're among the league leaders in hitting the other team, you're probably going to be among the league leaders in getting hit. Just seems to work that way.
There are consequences to our actions, I guess.
There are.
So Lopez now will work to Rougned Odor. Just missed on a couple of swings in this series. Little bouncer at third base, but Sanchez was in tight. Retires Odor, 2 away.
Second straight inning, the Rangers have had a man on second and 2 outs. Roogie first ball hitting, just hit that ball off the end of the bat with the kind of swing you might take on an 0-2 pitch.
So that will leave it up to Hanser Alberto, and Hanser making his first start of the season. In fact, it's his first appearance in a big league game since October 2nd a couple of years ago. Missed all of last season with those shoulder problems. Good to see him back. A chance to deliver right here, but he comes up empty on strike 1.
Now, early in the game, you could pretty much anticipate when he throws his fastball, Lopez will tune it up at about 97. That's what most of them have been so far.
One strike pitch to Alberto, and he'll roll it slowly to shortstop. Anderson charges, and his throw is in time. Alberto hustling down the line, but just nipped in the inning. We played 1.5, still no score. There's that magic bean there in Millennium Park in Chicago. That is one of the cooler public structures and artwork you'll see. A beautiful city, fun city. And Millennium Park, a great place to stop by when you're in town. A little toddling town. Here's Matt Davidson to lead things off here in the second inning for the White Sox. Davidson, the cleanup man, and DH today. Just 2 hits in the series. Rangers have held him well in check. 1-1 the count.
Mike not wasting any time. He's right on top of the mound, ready to throw too.
I think it's Davidson to offer at strike 2.
He's had a good fastball early in the game. I think his last 3 fastballs have all been swings and misses. Struck out Abreu on a mid-90s fastball, and Davidson's missed 2 of them to go to 1 ball and 2 strikes in this count. 94 with that one.
Now Davidson, a guy from whom they will expect great things, especially in terms of power. Last year had a real breakthrough year. Watches a close pitch there. It's 2-2. 26 home runs last year in his first full big league season. Strikeouts have been a problem for him early in his career, and he takes strike 3 right there. So the second strikeout for Minor.
And another good fastball. This one at 94 miles an hour. Watch the glove and watch the ball. Pretty much right there, bottom of the strike zone. It's interesting too, because for the season coming into this game, Mike had given up a pretty high average on his fastball. In fact, well over 370. Off speed pitches, batters were hitting a little over 200. But so far in this game, 4 batters in anyway, his fastball's been his best pitch.
Wellington Castillo takes a strike, so he struck out 2 of the first 4 he has faced. And you look at this right here, 26% strikeout rate against lefties for the White Sox. We showed you earlier some of the numbers that they have amassed as a group against left-handers. Not good, and that's just another way in which they have struggled against lefties. And just like that, 0-2 against Castillo. Castillo had the night off yesterday. Otherwise been in a pretty good groove. Last 8 games hitting .310 with a couple of homers. 7 RBIs. Not going to grab any headlines with it, but a little 5-game hitting streak. Minor gets him to offer it this one, and he hits it high in the air down that left field line, and that one is gone. Wellington Castillo, 6th home run of the year, and he gets the scoring started today in the bottom of the second, 1-0.
Behind in the count, Castillo caught up with a fastball on that swing. Been a number of swings and misses right before that by the batters, but not this time. That was a 94 mile an hour fastball. Looked like on the inside part of the plate. Castillo just put a nice swing on it, had it up in the air.
So 1-0, bases cleared for Yoan Moncada. Moncada, 6 homers for the season, 5 hits in this series, a couple of them doubles, and he looked bad on that one. It's 1-1.
A nice curveball.
Two and 1 the count. Moncada, one of the 3 switch hitters in the lineup today. And he takes on the corner. 2-2. And you can see, hitting right-handed, he has struggled against left-handed pitching, and it's a story told over and over again. Little bouncer third, nice play by Alberto, and he'll throw out Moncada, 2 away.
That's just one of those do-or-die plays. It's a slowly hit ball. Moncada runs pretty well. The fielder can't lay back to try to catch it on an easy hop. But the batter will probably beat it out. So Anzer Alberto showing why he's been such a highly regarded defensive player. A couple of years ago, he was rated the best defensive player at shortstop in the minor leagues. You have to have good hands to be rated like that. He showed them right there. Pretty nice pickup on that tricky hop.
Going to get a little help defensively. Yolmer Sanchez hitless in this series. 1-1 the count to him. Sanchez today batting 7th. Comes up empty here. It's 1-2. 1-0 bottom of the second inning.
Another nice curveball. Mike's had good stuff today. Castillo hit the home run. Mike has made a lot of good pitches with his fastball, and that second really nice curveball he's had bad swings at.
There's a swing and a miss. And another strikeout for Minor, his 3rd of the day.
That one right by him.
So the inning done, but the White Sox score first today. We head to the 3rd. That's an effort right there. Maybe that's why he has this.
A quart of ice. It's a quart of ice cream right there.
Wow. On a 45-degree day at the ballpark.
It'd be a little bit ugly by the time you got down to the bottom of that pile with 6 people dishing in their spoons trying to get out of there. Get it out of there.
Carlos Perez leading up the 3rd inning for the Rangers. Down 1-0, and he takes a strike. 1-1 the count. So Perez drawing the start today on a getaway day in Chicago. I'll take high, 2-1. Had a home run Sunday. The only Rangers run in that game last week in Houston. Opens off the plate, 3-1. So far, Lopez with 2 strikeouts. Everything else has been on the ground. This ball lined in the air out to left and over Garcia's head and to the fence.
That's like the ultimate example of why people say the hardest ball for an outfielder to field is the line shot hit directly over their head. It's just a hard thing to judge. That ball was hit right on the barrel of the bat. And as an outfielder, you see it coming toward you low like that. You're not sure whether it's right at you or whether it's 5 feet over your head. But Garcia kind of stood his ground on that one. By the time he realized where it was going, he had no chance to catch it. A rope right there by Carlos.
The second hit of the day for the Rangers. Well, that's got to be an awful feeling when you're out there.
Ooh. You feel pretty good when the ball comes off the bat. Stand your ground, catch the line drive, but as it gets closer to you and you realize what's about to happen, a sinking feeling enters your chest. A very well struck ball, and it's basically right at his head. You need to take a couple of steps back to have a chance on that one. You feel like if you right off the bat you take a couple of steps back, it's going to fall in front of you.
One pitch to the Shields off the plate. 2-0. Delano struck out on the first.
When a ball like that is hit to either side of you to where you have to run to your right or to your left, it's a little bit easier to pick up the velocity of the ball off the bat and what angle to take after it. Right at you presents a little bit more of a dilemma.
It's off the plate. 3-0. Now, does a manager, coach, they're somewhat understanding of the challenge of that play, but I mean,
there's not much they can say. I mean, they saw what happened. The player knows what happened. I think the only thing you can do is try to duplicate that the best you can in practice and take a lot of balls in practice. I don't see teams doing this much anymore. It's very hard for a guy with a fungo to duplicate that same ball. But one way you can do it, and again, there's flaws to it because it's not coming off a bat, is to get a pitching machine, put the pitching machine, somewhere around the infield, and tune it up to where it's shooting those balls right over your head. Doesn't imitate the ball coming off the bat, so it's not perfect, but at least you can get the repetitions on taking a step back and going after the ball in a short period of time without standing out there waiting for a guy with a fungo to be able to do it one right after the other. So I think it has some value to it.
Yeah, most guys hitting fungos, if they were to try to do that, right? Let's say take swing after swing. 1 out of 10.
I'm saying 1 out of 10 would be pretty high.
Yeah.
I used to do it in the instructional league with a pitching machine because I couldn't hit a fungo, so I had to use it. But you can get a lot of work in a short period of time because every one you throw out of the pitching machine is the same thing.
Shields strikes out swinging. 1 away here in the 3rd inning. Gives us a moment for a Chevy game break. Let's say hi to John Radigan. Okay. Thanks, John.
The other thing, the pitching machine, I thought worked great. You put it somewhere around the pitcher's mound, and you throw sky-high fly balls right to the fence, and have the outfielder stand in his normal position, and go back and get practice catching balls right up against the fence. Again, it's a thing that's almost impossible to duplicate with a fungo. 1 out of 4 or 5 might be good, and the other ones are either going too short or over the fence. This way, everyone's in the exact same spot. And you can move the outfielder to as far in as you want to determine how fast you want him to have to go back to practice getting to the warning track, setting up near the wall, maybe even jumping into the wall to catch him.
2-8 and the 1-strike pitch. Grounded on the right side. Handled by Moncada. 2 away. So Perez gets to 3rd base. And take a look at our Progressive upcoming schedule. Coming home after this one, Yankees in town beginning tomorrow night, 3 with New York. And then over the weekend, the long weekend, 4 more with Kansas City. Then it's back to the road in division, Seattle and LA for another divisional homestand. In fact, a lot of divisional games once we begin that next road trip.
Last thought on the pitching machine. Another way they're very good is you get the infielders in their position, the outfielders in their position, and you shoot them from somewhere around the pitcher's mound or home plate if you want, straight up in the air so that they're halfway between the outfielders and the infielders, and they get to practice on communication skills, coming in, being called off, infielders going, peeling off if the outfielder calls for it. Very handy for that because not many guys can hit a fungo like that.
I would think your drill at the wall, right? Guys going back. I would think outfielders would get into that idea.
Yeah,
that's the fun play.
Yeah, because you don't have to sit there and wait for the one ball to be hit. Every one of them is the same. You also can get an outfielder in his position and set the machine up to where it's throwing low line drives 20 or 25 feet in front of you, so you get in the habit of coming in for a ball and catching it off your shoe tops right near the ground. There's a lot of ways you can use it. I've seen guys hit fungos, great ground balls, but how many guys can hit one fungo after another accurately to outfielders? You can hit lazy fly balls and let them catch them, but that pretty much is a waste of time. Some guys are pretty good. You get a guy and soft toss a ball to a guy with a fungo, and they swing at it. It's not really a pitch, it's a soft toss. And then you get the duplication of a ball coming off the bat. And the guys that can really handle a fungo or a bat are pretty good at that. And that's also a pretty good way.
1-2. And Profar goes down, swings. That's 4 strikeouts for Lopez, and he gets them at big times, especially in this third inning. Rangers leave a man at third. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by GMC. Visit your local GMC dealer. In Chicago, guaranteed rate field on the south side. Baseball game, you just got to keep grinding. You got a gallon, maybe 2/3 of a gallon of ice cream in a helmet. Don't give up.
There's a lot less there than there was when we first showed him.
By the way, I've noticed those other 3 spoons haven't moved. Those are the exact same position.
He came to the ballpark today with one thing in mind. I'm going to eat a quart of ice cream.
Adam Engel starts things off here in the third inning for Chicago. Hard ground ball second base off of Odor and into center field. Engel thinking about it, but wisely will hold it first. Leadoff single.
Hard hit ball for Engel. Is struggling at home. 3 for 46 coming into this game at home. Hit that ball hard. Off Ruby's glove.
Gonna get the blood flowing. Engel does have good speed. He has stolen 6 bases in 7 tries, so Miner will definitely be keeping a close eye on him. Chase Thompson takes one outside for a ball. Interesting there. You see Perez, who does have a very good arm. And not a bad place for that. See if you can get Engel sleeping. Another decent lead. Thompson takes a high strike. It's 1-1. We do this from time to time. Check in on the updated leaders in foot speed. How about Adam Engel? 30.1 feet per second. His average sprint speed this year. One of just 4 guys in the big leagues over 30 feet per second. We cite the stolen base numbers a lot to give you a sense for how big a threat a guy might be, but the actual speed might be the best indicator, and he's a threat. There's one thing they don't like on the south side of Chicago. It's that throw over to first.
No opposing team at home loves it when the visitor throws over to first base.
1-2 the count on Thompson.
Another good fastball, 92 miles an hour. Swing and a miss.
Thompson, a light hitting outfielder. 1 for 7 in the series. Decent lead over there for Engel. Not going, and there's a swing and a miss. Strike 3. So Thompson strikes out. That's a 4th strikeout this afternoon for Minor.
Thompson's had 3 RBIs this year. They've all come on a home run, so essentially he hasn't driven in a run other than himself 3 times with a home run. He's been up a number of times. But he didn't have much of a chance in that at bat. He just threw the fastball right by him, up and out over the plate.
One out now. And again, Engel chased back. Tim Anderson, the speedy shortstop, steps in. Now he grounded out of the first inning. Look, with his speed, with Engel's speed over at first, you know, a double play would be a real challenge. Runner goes, bouncer, that one through into left field, base hit. Engel with that great start heads for third, and he'll be in there easily. So Anderson with a single and puts White Sox on the corners.
Anderson had been struggling with the bat as well. His last 17 games, he was hitting below 160. Engel, good jump, good lead. Easy for him to get all the way over to third base, even though that ball's hit the left field right in front of him. With his speed, Jerry thought about throwing it, and they decided, make sure you keep the man on first base, and hopefully Garcia will hit it into a double play. Throw it to third, let the runner get to second. That's not good, especially when there wasn't much chance to get him anywhere.
So Larry Garcia, who grounded out in the first inning, swings at strike 1. Garcia made his big league debut with the Rangers in 2013. Now with the White Sox, and has been somewhat of a utility man for them. Most of his work on the infield. Today getting a start in left. He bunts that one back to the screen. 0-2. White Sox today in those 83 throwback uniforms. Winning ugly in 1983. And they did this a couple years ago with those jerseys on a throwback Sunday. There's a ball, 1-2 the count. Anderson took off for second, and Rangers didn't even challenge him. It's a stolen base, his 11th of the year. Takes away any chance at a double play now. We see teams do that from time to time. Throw back to an old school uni. This one's so popular, they do the same uniform every Sunday at home.
That's a good look for a Sunday.
I like it. A 99 win team in 1983. Little poke out to right field. Chu coming on. He'll take it on a hop. Angles in. Anderson right behind him, and he's in there as well. Garcia with a 2-run bloop to right. Really good base running by Tim Anderson. And it's 3-0 Chicago.
Yeah, I have to admit that was an exciting play. Anderson didn't wait to see what was going to happen with that ball. From where we were, you couldn't tell whether Chu was going to catch it or not. He read it off the bat. Got a good jump. Didn't wait. Runner at third went back to tag. So they're right together. Watch Anderson come flying across the plate. He didn't slide till he got to the plate. He ended up all the way through the batter's circle.
Yeah, he had to kind of reach backward for the plate.
He almost slid after he got by the bag.
Brings
By
up
the base.
Jose Abreu now. So the base running, and we talked about the speed of this team, but the base running this inning, a big part of this 2-run rally so far. The stolen base, the hit and run single. Prior to that, and that heads up move by Anderson. 2 runs in. Miners had to throw some pitches here in the 3rd inning. 1-1 on Abreu. Abreu struck out in the 1st inning. Has 3 doubles in this series. Part of his 6 hits. Has a home run. Hits this ball well down the left field line, but foul. One and 2 the count. There you go. Rangers fans getting the ball on the road. Miner can strike out Abreu for a 2nd time today. 2-2. Since he came up in 2014, Abreu may be the most consistent hitter in the American League. We talk about especially power, run production. You know what you're going to get from him every year. 25 or more home runs, 100 or more RBIs. Three-two, runner goes. This one hit in the air, out to left. Long run for DeShields, but he gets there. Garcia will have to retrace his steps back to first and able to get back there, 2 away. He had already moved past second base.
It looked like Abreu had to reach for that ball a little bit. Saw him hit a ball to a little bit to the right of center field last night for a home run, but that one was a little bit away from him. Had to reach, hit the ball a little bit toward the end of the bat. And that gave Delino enough time to catch it right in front of the wall in left field. Garcia had gone all the way by the bag toward third base. And retrace his steps and touch the base.
Davidson went down looking in the 2nd. 0 for 1. So 4 strikeouts early on. Miner off the plate there, 1-1 the count. So Abreu there, that was not the first ball hit in the air. We've had some line drives and whatnot in this game, but that was the first fly ball out of the game for either team. This one fouled back, and it's 1-2 on Matt Davidson. He's off to a much better start in 2018 than last year, Davidson. For good power, taking some walks, and he strikes out looking for a second time. That's a 5th strikeout for Minor. 2 more runs in for the White Sox. They lead 3-0. But when we come back, the big chill. Nomar Mazara to lead it off. He's almost to the end of that thing.
Right now he's asking where the closest bathroom is too.
Even his hands moving slowly. Oh. All right, TXU Energy power player to watch is not that kid downing that ice cream. It's Nomar. 13 of his 19 hits this month have been for extra bases. 7 homers, 5 doubles. He had a triple earlier in this series. And he's leading things off here in the 4th. Lopez fires one a little bit outside for ball 1. Nomar rolled out in the 1st inning. See the average still up over 280. The 10 home runs this year. 1-1 the count. And by the way, the crack staff always working behind the scenes. We've been told that helmet full of ice cream is worth 2,700 calories.
That's not bad. I mean, it's like your daily allotment and a little bit more, but I would have thought it was higher than that. Oh, you can get one of those ridiculous cheeseburgers that's got about that much in it too.
Roll out. Oh, speaking of calories, this Wednesday, the next Texas Chili Company dollar hot dog night. Rangers and Yankees. Coming out to Globe Life Park. Enjoy ballpark hot dogs, just $1 each. Go to TexasRangers.com for tickets or call 972-RANGERS. Might even want to fast for a day or 2 in advance. Here's Gallo. A big swing and a high fly ball twisting its way out to left field where Garcia camps underneath it. 2 away.
One of those balls that is frustrating for a hitter. Talk about them all the time. Almost every game someone hits 1 or 2 like that. Good pitch to hit. Great swing. You just get underneath it a little bit. Goes straight up in the air. A little bit more in the middle of the bat, and that ball shoots out of left field in a hurry for Joey.
So now it's up to Ryan Rua. Rangers have 2 hits so far today against Reynaldo Lopez, a 24-year-old right-hander, and Rua fouls this one back out of play. Ryan struck out in the 2nd. His playing time has become very sporadic. Started 13 of the Rangers' first 14 games in left field. But lately it's had to fight for those opportunities. 0-2 the count. That's just his second start on this long road trip. And his second start this year at first base. 0-2. A little tight.
Strike three. It was a tip, but the catcher caught it, I guess. Ryan's saying it hit me, not the bat.
That was a
umpire ruled
bit of a
tip.
delayed call. Angel Hernandez saying that he heard it. Jeff Bannister asking for a look in the dugout. May have.
If you're the umpire, there's no way that you can see that. You hear it and go by that, and you hope that you can tell the difference between the sound of the bat and the sound of the glove. Jeff Bannister is going to take a look at it and see if they can tell.
Let's see if we can hear it.
I heard it go in the catcher's glove, but I didn't hear the other part of it. Of course, I don't have very good hearing.
Well, they're going to take a look back
in New York. I don't know if you can see it.
No, this to me this might be a frustration challenge as much as anything. Because
I believe Ryan. I believe that when he said that's where it hit him. I just don't know that you're going to be able to see it on the replay.
A replay review brought to you by Ford. And again, we point this out all the time, but you need clear and convincing evidence on the video that it was not what was called on the field, and on the field that was a strikeout. So you've got to see a video here that says to me, oh, that absolutely positively did not hit the bat. That's gonna be tough.
I saw the replay on the diamond vision, and it sure looks like Ryan's right, because it shows it going off something, and then as it goes by the other part of the bat, it's a couple inches away from it. I would say that it did hit him. I'm not saying they're going to change it, but based on the replay, a couple of the replays they showed on the scoreboard sure looked like it did.
It does seem too, doesn't it, that the longer they take, and then this one's taking a little bit of time, usually means that they're not seeing clear evidence in the opposite direction of the call. So as it stands, the inning would be over. There'd be another strikeout of Rua, a foul out. Well, we'll wait. See what they come up with. Been a while since we have seen a challenge on this road trip, but that was obviously Banny gets his information from better looks sometimes than we have up in the clubhouse, and they said give it a look. So they saw something. Here we go. Looks like our decision has come down, and indeed it will stay a foul tip.
That's it.
So that strikeout ends the inning. A 7-pitch half inning, in fact, sends us to the bottom of the fourth. It's 3-0. Bottom of the 4th inning. Now that view right there makes it look like a rather pleasant day, and it actually
It's
has
actually
kind
not
of
bad now.
ended up pretty decent. Yeah, it was freezing cold here earlier.
Yeah, the wind died down. It's 50 degrees. It's not bad at all. They've had way worse weather than this in April all over the Midwest and East Coast. There's been games in the Midwest where the temperature was down in the mid-30s to low 30s, and it was damp and windy. I don't know how you play in those conditions. Today it never was really below 47 or 48, so it was chilly with a breeze, but they've had a lot worse.
I could be wrong, but didn't they play a series up in Minnesota where temperatures were in the upper 20s?
Yeah, I think they were. I've never played under those conditions.
Castillo leading off this 4th inning for Chicago in a whole 0-2. Well, certainly played in a lot of bad weather.
Bad weather, but never that cold. I don't remember many games in the 30s. I don't ever remember one in the low 30s.
This ball hit well down the left field line and into that corner. Bangs off the fence for Castillo, and he is going to have to return to first base. Now, he would have been okay going to second. The throw was way off line coming back in, but Castillo, a prudent move.
Look at Castillo the first time up in the 2nd inning. Going to get a fastball on the inside part of the plate. Not far away from where Carlos Perez put the target, but he hit it halfway up in the seats in left field. And that was a hanging curveball, not a fastball. And this one was hit almost as hard, maybe harder, but it's a hooking, sinking line drive. It sunk before it got to the wall, hit the middle of the wall. It turned out to be nothing more than a single. He hit it so hard.
There were a couple of impressive at-bats. Hey, the contact. He hit the home run on a 1-2 pitch. Blasted that last one on an 0-2 pitch. Castillo taking some pretty good hacks with 2 strikes. Yoan Moncada, meanwhile, in a whole 0-2. He grounded out on the 2nd. 3-0 Chicago. Minor needs a bounce back inning after a long 3rd. And he takes care of Moncada. It's his 6th strikeout already. Hey, don't miss the T-Mobile Friday fireworks on Star Wars weekend. Coming out to the ballpark on Friday, Royals and Rangers, but then after the game, the post-game fireworks show set to the music of Star Wars. Fans can get $16 upper reserve tickets for this Friday game only, thanks to Fox Sports Southwest and T-Mobile. Head to TexasRangers.com/specials. Purchase your tickets at T-Mobile Friday fireworks on Star Wars weekend. So Moncada down on strikes. Here is Sanchez. He struck out in the 2nd. Minor's pitch. There's a swing and a miss. Been a great series for Sanchez. 0 for 8. Minor would love to see him put it in play here, maybe a little ground ball and a chance to turn 2, get out of the inning. That last miss to Sanchez put an end to a stretch of 11 straight strikes thrown by Minor. So he's been filling the zone. This will be his 68th pitch of the afternoon. And a little pop-up. Foul ground, first base side. Rua is right there, so 2 away. It sounded like they came off a hollow bat. Up Adam Engel.
Mention Engel, his struggles at home. The White Sox coming into this series had only won 3 games at home, so the whole team had struggled at home. Engel had been 3 for 46. That's an .065 average at home. But he had a leadoff single in the 3rd inning when the Sox scored a couple of runs.
I hit the ball sharply. Banged off of Odor's glove. And he rolls this one off his foot. 0-2 the count. That one hurt. Get a second to walk that one off. Angel Hernandez will buy a little time for him. Meanwhile, Minor, 6 strikeouts so far today.
It kind of goes along with the way his season has gone along. For the most part, he's thrown the ball fine. May have made a few mistakes here and there, but today the White Sox just seem to capitalize on any of those mistakes, and they've hit a couple of balls hard, but more often than not, his fastball has been a pitch that he's gotten swings and misses on. Curveball, when he's kept it down below the strike zone, has been an outstanding pitch for him as well.
Season high in strikeouts was 7 against the Blue Jays. Fouled away, and Engel stays alive.
The hit that Garcia got, the driving 2 runs in the third, was just a little blooper in the right field. Fell in front of Chu.
Well, Engel, an outstanding defensive center fielder with great speed. Really struggling to learn hitting at this level, at the big league level, and this one popped up. Third base side, Alberto is over there. That tarp in his way. Hands are taking care of the fans. Engel made 91 starts in center field last year. Great collegiate player at Louisville. 19th round pick in 2013. He's still just 26 years old. Made his big league debut almost a year ago to the day. And he takes high. 2-2. Minor, meanwhile, 30 years old. This is 9th start of the season. A couple of years in relief, coming off surgery a few years ago. Rangers have given him the opportunity to turn himself back into a starter. Minor was so good as a starting pitcher with Atlanta when he came up as a youngster, but then sidelined by injury. Last year was an excellent bullpen ad for Kansas City. He was outstanding. 2-2. A swing and a miss, strike 3. So he ties his season high with 7 strikeouts, and he's only through 4 innings. Yesterday, folks lined up outside to get that bobblehead Star Wars night Hawk Solo. That's right, Ken Hawk Harrelson, beloved longtime broadcaster here on the south side of Chicago. Does Sunday games only now. Great to see the Hawk today before the ball game. Fans just love him. 33 years in the White Sox TV booth. He's been a 3-time finalist for the Ford Frick Award in the Hall of Fame. Started his career with the Red Sox in 1975. A lot of ways you could go with Hawk. You gotta have some Hawk stories, don't you, Tag?
I first met Hawk in 1966. I had just signed at the end of the summer with the Senators, and I went to Washington and worked out with the team, and Hawk was on the Senators. And back in the mid-60s for a while. And so I met him then.
Odor bunts one left side, barehanded by Lopez. He throws a good fastball over to first. Odor trying to drop one in there, but retired to start the fifth.
Yeah, he's a good bunter, a good runner, so that's a good idea. Leading off the fifth inning, the Rangers having a hard time getting anything going against Lopez. Try to get a base runner. The only problem with the bunt was it wasn't close enough to the third base line. The infielder was over toward shortstop, and if the ball hugged the line a little bit, Lopez wouldn't have had time to go over and get it, and the infielder wouldn't have either. It would have been a base hit, but the ball just went a little bit too close to the pitcher. Made it a pretty easy play for Lopez.
So now Hanser 0 for 1. Grounded out to shortstop his first time up in the second inning.
And then Hawk briefly was a general manager for the White Sox for a year or two.
Fly ball out to left. Garcia right there. 2 away.
And we made a trade at the winter meetings.
Oh.
We traded, see if I can remember, Dave Schmidt, who was a very solid setup reliever, and I believe Wayne Tollison, one of our infielders, shortstop, second baseman. And in that trade, we got Jose Mota, who's now a broadcaster for the Angels, was one of their top infield prospects. And the player that we coveted and got in that trade was Edwin Correa. Edwin Correa, when he was 20 years old, won 10 or 11 games for the Rangers. His last start was in Yankee Stadium. He struck out 12 and pitched like a 2-hit shutout. Had a mid-90s fastball, one of the best changeups in the league at age 20. And we thought we had just struck gold, which we did. Unfortunately, he got hurt and was never the same after that rookie season. So the Rangers kind of satisfied their desires in that trade by getting younger players. Hawk was looking for some veteran players to fill some key spots, and he got the players he was looking for. And Wayne Tollison and Dave Schmidt.
Fly ball out to center field by Perez. An 8-pitch inning for Lopez. Rangers go quietly. We're halfway there. It's 3-0.
matter where you serve or when you served, we stand ready to serve all military families.
At bottom of the 5th inning, Minor face a 9th place hitter, Trace Thompson. Boy, he turns that one sharply foul. Thompson struck out in the 3rd. He's 0 for 1. On the top of the order, Anderson and Leury Garcia. 3-0 White Sox.
And Thompson is a nice athlete. The White Sox are giving him a pretty good look. Had a little bit of a problem early in the season. He's 6 for 57.
0-2 the count. Originally drafted by the White Sox, but he has been well traveled since then, and he takes strike 3 called here, so that is 8 strikeouts now.
We've talked about the nice fastball that Mike's had today. His other pitches have been pretty good too. And there's a good look at his changeup. Thompson got a good look at it too. Didn't really like the call that much.
So 1 gone, and here is Tim Anderson, and it's way inside on him. Anderson 1 for 2, has also stolen a base and scored a run. Light hitting shortstop. Very good speed. Bouncer in the hole, it's short. Profar has to hustle it over. He does. 2 away. We'll check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, Carlos Perez back behind the plate for Mike Minor today. Talked to Jeff Bannister about just the backup catcher role in particular and how difficult it is to bring something offensively to the table. And he said it really is, because basically you have to, as a backup catcher, catch a 9-inning game every day, even when you're not catching a 9-inning game every day. So whether that's catching in the bullpen, also to getting in your cage work. So it is a difficult proposition to be a backup catcher, not to get in that rhythm, but to still be expected to, squat behind a plate for 9 innings and then produce when your name is called in the lineup as well.
Well, he has produced a little bit today with a double, and he's obviously calling a good game. 8 strikeouts so far for Minor. Well, Minor has allowed 3 runs, just 5 hits off of him. A little bit low. 2-1 to Garcia. Garcia had really one of the bigger hits, the 2-run bloop out to right field. Takes a strike. It's 2-2. Minor has worked at a pretty rapid clip today. When he gets it back, he's ready to go, and he will come backer through the middle. That's a base hit for Garcia. His 2nd hit of the day.
Fastball out over the plate, away. Hit sharply up the middle. Fortunately, it didn't hit Mike in the ankle. That's a ball that we've seen Bartolo Colon catch a number of times this year. Finishes off in that perfectly square fielding position. Allows him to make a play on a ball like that.
So it keeps the inning going for Jose Abreu, which is never a great thing. Abreu had some big at-bats yesterday. Here, 0 for 2. He struck out in the 1st inning. Flight out in the 3rd. Two outs. Garcia with a good lead. He's not going anywhere. And Abreu turns that one foul. We were talking earlier about Hawk Harrelson and the fact that you two made a trade. Harrelson, going back and looking at the records, Hawk was the general manager for about 8 months here. That was a pretty short little run, but he did get a lot done. He fired Tony La Russa and Dave Dombrowski, who would go on to become the GM with Montreal. Traded Bobby Bonilla. He moved Carlton Fisk. to the outfield.
The other thing he did is he fired almost every minor league manager or coach who hadn't played in the big leagues, and replaced. It was a requisite. You had to have played the big leagues, and hired guys like Duke Sims and veteran players to coach and manage in the minor leagues. Completely revamped that system, probably to the detriment of the franchise. And Jerry Reinsdorf realized what a great broadcaster he had and what a mistake he'd made by allowing him to be the general manager, and erased that mistake after 8 months.
Yeah, he went from the booth to the GM spot and back to the booth. That was a quick detour. It was a swing and a miss. Strike three. Abreu strikes out. 9 strikeouts for Minor this afternoon. White Sox leave a man, but they lead 3-0. All right, thanks, John. Here we go to the 6th inning this afternoon. Rangers looking to get something going offensively. They have been absolutely handcuffed by Reynaldo Lopez. The Rangers have had just 3 men get into scoring position. Lopez has retired 9 in a row. And he goes after the Shields with strike 1. Delino has struck out twice.
That's been a pretty impressive start for Reynaldo Lopez, who's had a number of impressive starts this year. Had a good fastball early in the game. It was 97 with some significant movement. And we've seen a breaking ball and a changeup that have been pretty good too. It's still 97.
Yeah. 2-1 though on the Shields. Love to get Delino on and see if he can do something with that speed of his. 2-2 the count. Lopez, a good story. A lot of times there are great stories behind these kids. Just 24 years old. His grandfather back in the Dominican when he was just a kid sold 2 cows so that he could buy him a glove, a pair of cleats, and an aluminum bat. There's a swing and a miss, and he strikes out the Shields for the 3rd time this afternoon. Away. Season high in groundouts with 7 of them. 6 strikeouts, 3 of them against Delino DeShields. So that has been the weak spot for Lopez, or the spot that he's been able to exploit. Here's Chu. Chu had a base hit in the 1st.
10 in a row retired by Lopez. Carlos Perez had a leadoff double in the 3rd inning. Since then, Rangers have not had a base runner, and he's had 4 strikeouts.
Evens it up on Chu here, 1-1. So Chu's been on once today. He's 2 times up. They do play a shift on him, and he sends this one to the left side out of play for strike 2. And that has been a good development for Chu. Yesterday, Chu walked a couple of times. On Friday, he walked twice, had the grand slam and a base hit. He was on 4 of the 5 times he came up. And then on Thursday, 2 base hits. So he's been all over the bases in this series. Whoa, over his head, 2-2. Against right-handed pitchers, you look at the major league leaders career on base. Votto right now the best at 439. Chu not that far behind, nearly a 400 average or on base average against right-handers. One time here. Bouncer right side of the infield. Lopez covering, 1 away, rather 2 away. A bullpen live look brought to you by Southwest Airlines and Tony Barnett getting ready out there. Looks like he's preparing himself as if he would come in the 6th inning, so Minor may well be done. 9 strikeouts today. If that indeed is the case, then it's the Rangers' last chance to get him some run support. Profar 0 for 2, struck out his last time up. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 1st inning. Takes on the inside corner for a strike.
Had to think about that one a little bit. Slightly delayed call.
Profar, one of a handful of guys with the balaclava around the neck. I haven't seen anybody have to pull it up over their face, I don't think, out on the field yet. I'm guessing you never had one of those when you were playing.
No, nothing like that.
Inside, 2-1. It's one of those words, balaclava, that takes a little while to, sort of get, because I always hear baklava and I think of that wonderful dessert. Should be an unfortunate error when you order. There's a little bouncer dropped by Sanchez, and he can't recover in time. So Profar is on. That'll be an error on Sanchez. And so the inning does continue.
Might have been the easiest hit ball you've ever seen an error on right there. The only thing that might have happened on that ball might have had some spin on it that he didn't anticipate. When it hit its glove, it spun away from him. Other than a little pop-up, that's about as softly hit a ground ball as you can get. But to give him any benefit of the doubt, maybe it did have some spin on it. Not going to change the fact that it's a simple play that should have been made, though.
It means the White Sox now have made an error in 5 straight games.
Here's where you'd like to see that error turn into 2 runs. 1 pitch down the middle and a 400-foot home run.
Mazara has hit 2 ground balls to the right side. Hits this ball well out to center field, though. Angle going back near the wall, and he'll make the catch.
Unfortunately, it was a 400-foot out.
Just missed. Inning done. Rangers leave another. They trail 3-0.
Airlines player breakdown. For Mike Minor, it'll be 5 innings today. 6 hits, 3 runs. Doesn't look great, but no walks and 9 strikeouts does look great. And when you watch the video of a lot of his pitches, it looks great as well. There's the best pitch of the day. 95 miles an hour to tie up Jose Abreu. Another good fastball at 94 miles an hour. We're going to feature some of the curveballs that Mike threw today, which was also an exceptional pitch for him, especially when he kept it down. Castillo did hit one that hung, but when he kept the curveball down and the fastball where he wanted to, he was untouchable today. No walks, 9 strikeouts, only 5 innings, but that was great stuff from Mike Minor today.
It gives way to Tony Barnett here in the 6th inning. Barnett will get the heart of the order. 4, 5, and 6 hitters. Davidson, Castillo, and Moncada. And off the plate, 1-1.
I think when you look at Mike's line today, one thing you can look at is Jose Abreu, who was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And that pretty much tells you that Mike had to have good stuff today, because Abreu's on a 10-game hitting streak and hadn't taken a bad swing the whole series.
1-2 the count on Davidson. So Barnett making his 10th appearance out of the bullpen. He's gone 9-4 the last 2 years with a couple of saves. And strike 3 called. He gets Davidson looking, and that's how we begin the bottom of the 6th. Hey, download the app, play for free, and start your streak for a chance at $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today. One of the 3 and 4 spots in the order for Chicago. Abreu and Davidson. 0 for 6, 5 strikeouts. Here's Castillo. And Barnett puts one right on the bottom of the strike zone. Castillo's had the hot bat, the home run in the 2nd, and then the hard hit single in the 4th. A single that hit the wall on the fly out there in left field. Lifts this one out to right. Chu angling over, and he'll give way to DeShields. Boy, Delano calling him off at the last second there. 2 away.
Well, it was probably an easier play for Shin Su, but at the same time, his job is to get out of the way if the center fielder yells for it. Delano yelled for it, and Chu did get out of the way. He was underneath it, but once he heard Delano yelling, you can see him right here. Stop, get out of the way, and let the center fielder take it.
So 6 pitches, 2 outs for Barnett. And now Moncada is grounded out and struck out. By the way, those 9 strikeouts for Minor today, 2nd highest total for a Rangers pitcher this year. Hamels struck out 11 earlier this season. This one fouled over to the left side out of play. It's 1-1. Hamels got those 11 strikeouts in Oakland. Three runs, 6 hits for Chicago. No runs, 2 hits for the Rangers. And that one a bit wide. Barnett hangs that leg up there and then gets it to the plate low. 3-1. The season started with Tony Barnett on the disabled list. Back spasms forced him to miss roughly the last 2 weeks of spring training. And he finds inside corner there. It's a full count. We play Moncada straight up. Here it comes. High fly ball, short left field. Profar going out from shortstop, and he'll tuck it away. So we have played 6 this afternoon in Chicago. White Sox lead 3-0. pounds of ice cream, 12 scoops in
If
6
you're asking
innings.
me, the answer is no.
Well,
If you're asking him, it's yes, easily.
12 scoops, chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, 2,700 calories, and one satisfied belch at
He's
the
got
end.
about 5 more calories to lick off the bottom of that helmet, and he will have downed 2,700 calories. Wow.
I don't know what else he has planned for the day.
I do. He's headed to the bathroom right about now. We're gonna get the exit velocity of that ice cream.
Oh, man. Gallo.
I stole that line from Ethan.
Oh, that's beautiful. Pop up into left. One away here in the 7th inning. Launch angle won't be disputed. I did notice, by the way, that kid sitting by himself.
I mean, he didn't look like that big a kid either.
No.
He's a little bit bigger now than he was when he started, though.
I'm assuming that, you know, he's probably 21 years or younger. And I think at that age, it doesn't matter. You can do it. No
The
big deal.
best part about it is he has no idea that we've watched almost every scoop of that go down. I hope he goes home and watches the highlights tonight, because that's going to have to make it.
Well, I think he enjoyed himself. I sure hope he did, because if there's no point in doing that otherwise.
That's right up there with some of our items back home, when a guy will eat all of the
Like a boomstick.
the giant boomstick or some of those other items. Man, 12 scoops of ice cream, that's right up there with that. Now you do the boomstick and the 12 scoops of ice cream, now you've got an eating legend. Joey Chestnut couldn't do that.
Rua sends one high in the air out to right center field. Boy, Lopez pitching this thing in a rocking chair today. 2 up, 2 down in the 7th inning.
There's been only one base runner since the double to lead off the 3rd, and that was the error on the simple ground ball that Profar hit to third base. Now, this is a very impressive outing by Lopez, throwing hard, 97 miles an hour, throwing strikes. Came into the game averaging about 4 walks per 9 innings, but he's only walked 1 in this game. Came in a little bit home run prone. Obviously hasn't given up a home run in this game. He's working quickly, throwing strikes, a lot of movement on his fastball. So in addition to the velocity, he's got the movement, which has made it difficult for the Rangers to hit the ball on the barrel of the bat.
It's just his 82nd pitch of the afternoon. So one would figure that he has plenty left to go even deeper into this one. Should the Rangers not work him a little bit in the 7th inning? Odor swings and misses. It's 0-2.
To those of us that weren't that familiar with the young pitchers that the White Sox got in that Adam Eaton trade from Washington, the one that most people were familiar with was Giolito. I don't know how they were ranked in the scouting world, but this kid is obviously featuring a much more dominant arm than we saw anyway from last night from Giolito.
But Giolito, there was a time there where he was the #1 prospect in baseball. This guy was the #4 prospect in the White Sox system, according to Baseball America.
Yeah, it's good reason why you don't trust those rankings very often.
Yeah. 0-2.
Of course, you know, Giolito may be working his way back to dominant stuff. We didn't see it last night. And maybe this kid's getting better and better. Or maybe we're seeing him on his best night. But even if you look at the rest of his season and not this game, it's been pretty impressive. 7 of his 8 starts found him with a 2.33 ERA this year.
Well, we did have people tell us that of the 2, not of just the 2, the 5, that they feel like Ronaldo Lopez had the best stuff in this rotation, and he's flashed some of it today.
Yeah, and that's definitely the case right now. I'm not sure what it was several years ago when maybe Giolito was a little more dominant. Not sure what Lopez was back then.
2 balls, 2 strikes now on Odor. Rugi rolled out to third and bounced back to the mound today.
Well, Lopez, you mentioned he's not a big guy. He's not a tall guy, but this kid's solidly built. And even though he doesn't have the height, he looks like he has the strength and the build to be a durable kind of a pitcher.
He's about 6 feet tall, 200 pounds.
So when you look at his delivery, seems to be pretty efficient as well.
Well, 1-2-3 7th inning. Time for God Bless America here in Chicago. We turn it over to the voice of the ballpark, Gene Honda.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Major League ballparks across America each Sunday, the singing of God Bless America is performed in support of our country and our men and women stationed overseas. Please welcome Michael Lynch for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
OLED TV with AI Thin Q. Well, if you look closer, you can see us off in the distance. That is Chicago. That's where we are, on the south side of it. As Alex Claudio has come in here to pitch in the bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch, roller right side. Odor gets to it to throw. Not in time. Almost got Yolmer Sanchez. But an infield hit to start the 7th.
That was a nice play by Ruge. He had to go a long way to get that ball. Showed the range. And then he got rid of it running toward the foul line accurately, which was a feat in itself. Nice play. You get a little bit lesser runner, you've got a highlight reel play. The fact that Sanchez beat it doesn't really take away from the athletic play that Ruge made.
And a little shift created the opportunity. Now a bunt. That's a foul. Great work by Perez, though, to jump on it and see if he could get a double play. There's the numbers for Alex Claudio.
Yep, be his 22nd game. Alex has been used frequently. ERA is a little high. He's had a couple of outings where he's given up some runs that makes that ERA 5.06. One thing you love about him, he throws strikes. 2 walks in 21 innings.
Well, man on. So gets ground balls, so a chance maybe to roll a pair. He checks in on Yolmer Sanchez. Engel had the hard hit infield hit in the 3rd inning. Struck out in the 4th. Tried to check his swing. Did he? No, he did not.
No, he didn't. He almost did.
Paul Nart. Umpire down there at first. Big figure in the opening game of this series on Thursday. It's a pitch on the way. That one off the plate to Engel. 1-2. Well, we talked a little bit about Hawk today. Want to mention another person in the ballpark here, part of the in-park entertainment, Chris Ackles. And he's from the Metroplex. Young man starting his career here in Chicago now. Swing and a miss, and Engel strikes out, 1 away in the 7th inning. Nice young man, came by the booth, I guess it was Thursday night. We got a chance to chat with him a little bit.
I've been watching him around the ballpark too. He's doing a great job. Very nice to meet Chris.
Always
his
fun to-
family has been big Ranger fans over the years. Grew up watching Ranger baseball. One of his idols, the legendary Jim Knox.
Yeah, that was fun. He takes a little bit of Knox's, entertainment style, and he has brought it here to Chicago. Runner goes, throw down to second, pretty good one, and they got
What a
him.
play by
Wow.
Perez. That looked like Sanchez had a pretty good jump, but he got rid of that ball. That ball was out of his hand the second it hit the glove practically. And he delivered it right in front of the bag too. That's a big lead and a big jump. That was such a nice play by Carlos Perez.
He's thrown out 3 of 6 opposing base runners this year. This ball hit high in the air out to center field. It turned Delino around a little bit. He can't get to it. Thompson has good speed. He'll turn second, but wisely return. 2-out double. And now that caught stealing's huge.
Thompson's a nice looking athlete. Nice swing at that pitch. Had a little bit of a problem earlier in the game against Mike Minor, but this time he gets a hold of one. Drives it to right center field. Very graceful athlete. Wanted to go for 3, but with 2 outs, made the right decision.
So now Tim Anderson pops it up, short right field. Odor asking for it. He'll take it, and the inning is done. So the White Sox leave another man out there. We go to the 8th. Time running short. Rangers trailing 3-0. 3-0. Chicago leading, so Rangers running a little short on time. Ronaldo Lopez at 88 pitches. Very efficient, and he comes after Hanser Alberto with a strike on the inside corner.
Yeah, he's threw a lot of fastballs early, and now he's mixing in a pretty good breaking ball. Got Ruge looking at one to end the 7th inning, and starts out the 8th inning with a nice curveball for a strike. Still throwing 90s like automatic, like Alexia Gondo used to be. Every pitch he threw was 97 miles an hour. I think Alexia was 96.
Fly ball center field. Engel in, now to his left. Away. .59 pitches at better than 95 miles per hour today. Pretty impressive. And he is 10th among American League starters with that average fastball velocity right at 95 miles per hour.
He's retired 16 out of 17 now. The only man to get on was Profar on an error in the 6th inning.
Carlos Perez had some good swings today. Those look great behind the plate. Lopez, this ties his longest career outing. So nearing uncharted waters for him in terms of innings pitched. 7 1/3 so far here this afternoon. 1-1. Perez hits this one well out to center. Again, Engel to his left. 2 away. Now time now for a word from our friends at Southwest Kia.
$250 down, $250 a month or less on select new Kias in stock only at southwestkia.com.
A breakthrough game of sorts for Reynaldo Lopez, White Sox starter, just 24 years old. Made 8 starts last year in his first taste of the big leagues. This is his 9th start of this season. And his best so far is shut out the Rangers through 7 2/3, and he gets DeShields to foul off a strike. Delino has struck out 3 times today.
It's kind of tough to look out and watch this stuff today and look at his line and see that he's winless so far this year. They haven't scored many runs for him, which hasn't helped. But to see this kind of performance from a guy who hasn't won a game yet, pretty amazing.
I showed you earlier, 3.1 runs of support on average, 4th lowest in the American League. He became the first White Sox starting pitcher since at least 1908 to lose a game in which he threw 7+ innings and allowed 2 or fewer hits and 1 run, which was unearned. He did that earlier in the year. Pretty good start against Detroit, but still lost it. And off the plate here to DeShields, 1 and 2.
White Sox had another good note on him. First, you may have already mentioned it, Dave. If you have, I apologize. First Sox pitcher to have 6 or more innings, 2 hits or less, 1 run or less in his first 2 starts of a season. So he had both those starts this year to start the season. Didn't win either one of them.
Today he got 3 runs of support early. Sox gave him a run in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd, and he has not needed much more. 2-2. It's off the plate.
This will be his 100th pitch. There's action in the White Sox bullpen. If Rick Renteria lets him go for the shutout or whether he calls it a day. A little over 100 pitches.
The payoff. And Delino fights it off. A quiet day offensively for the Rangers, and there you see the activity. As Jace Fry and Bruce Rondon have both been out there getting ready. The windup in the pitch. And that's high. He walks DeShields. So the Rangers have a base runner in this 8th inning, albeit with 2 out. And here comes Rick Renteria. So, great effort today from that young man. But one would gather that that is it. Renteria hasn't signaled yet, but that's just a formality at this point. The fans here, not a big crowd, 16,829. Should give him a nice round of applause. Renteria, certainly a big smile on his face. Likes the effort of his 24-year-old right-hander. Renteria going to listen to the young man. He looked him dead in the eye, and you could see he was asking him some questions. Lopez never wavered, so gonna leave him in.
I love that.
I do too.
I love it when the manager lets the pitcher dictate what he does. And I think Renteria, guessing, went out there probably more than 50-50. He was going to take him out. He got out there and took a look at the kid and listened to what he had to say and said, "Okay, kid, go get him." Like that.
Wearing those throwback unis, 1983, and they're going to manage this game like it is 1983. Shields over there at first. Chu 1 for 3 at the plate. Chu was grounded out a couple of times, singled back in the first inning. He hit the grand slam here on Friday. Put it into a 24-game stretch without a home run. Rangers have been in a little homer drought lately. Just one home run in the last 4, now 5 games as Chu fouls it back and the count 1-1. Rangers also have not been shut out this year. The Yankees and Rangers for the longest time, the only 2 teams who haven't been blanked to this point of the season. Shift on against Chu. Takes outside, 2-1. Just 2 clubs left. And of course the Yankees will be the Rangers' opponent when we go home after this ball game tonight. We'll be in town Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. 2-1 pitch. That's high. 3-1. And certainly, if Lopez walks Chu, he'll be done. ...105 pitches for Lopez. His season high mark, 106 at Oakland back in April. And he'll hit that right here. The 3-1 foul away is full count. So it's the deepest he's gone in the game in terms of innings pitched, and now it will become the deepest in terms of pitches thrown. The Sox fans trying to get him to the finish line of this 8th inning. Delano will turn it loose on the pitch. Here it comes. And a swing and a miss. Chu strikes out. Lopez gets it done and rewards his manager for trusting him to stay in there. 107 pitches, 8 shutout innings, and we go to the last of the 8th. Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Ford. Visit your local Texas Ford dealer today. Ford is the best in Texas. Bottom of the 8th inning. 3-0 White Sox. And good to see Chris Martin back out on the mound for the Rangers. Just activated today off the disabled list. Joined the team this weekend when we got here to Chicago. Had that right forearm, strained tightness, I guess it was. Put him on the DL, and now he is back, his 17th appearance.
Yep, fastball, slider. Those are Chris's numbers on the season. Good strikeout to walk ratio. 13 strikeouts, only 3 walks.
We get to see 2, 3, and 4 hitters here. Yuri Garcia has a couple of hits today. Fouls off strike 1.
Yeah, he had, I guess, the big hit, really. Men on second and third, blooped one into right field for 2 runs. Exciting play when Engel and Anderson, 2 guys with great speed, scored almost at the same time. Engel had gone back to tag up. Anderson was right behind him.
0-2 the count. Yeah, that was a big play, and that was a weird inning, a big inning. Engel got on via an infield hit, some part because of his speed, and then a hit and run base hit by Anderson. Put the men on the corners, so some aggressive base running, and then Anderson stole second, which allowed him to score on that little bloop. And boy, Garcia, a weak at bat here in the 8th inning, strikes out, 1 away. And it's Memorial Day weekend coming out to the ballpark. Rangers and Royals the matchup. First 15,000 fans to the game on Sunday, May 27th. We'll get a Rangers cap courtesy of Carter Blood Care. Get your tickets at TexasRangers.com or give them a call, 972-RANGERS. One out for Jose Abreu. Rare hitless day for Abreu. He's 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Rangers haven't seen much of this anyway. He was 6 for 10 in the first 3 games. Martin just misses the corner, 1-1. The only trip through Chicago. Rangers will need a comeback in the 9th inning if they're going to have a chance to split this series. Very much in danger of losing a 4-game series here. 1-2 the count. But this has been a place, seems, regardless of record or way that teams have even been playing at times, that just the Rangers in this ballpark doesn't seem to agree with them. They have struggled. Lost 9 of their last 11 here. In fact, they've gone 6-17 since August of 2011. There's only one ballpark that over the years has given them more trouble or provided them with more lowlights than this ballpark, and that's Fenway Park. Going back to 2001 and beyond. And the numbers are pretty close. 1-2, very high. So I guess you could say they'll be happy to put guaranteed rate field in the rearview mirror later on today. Martin went on the DL May 2nd. Technically speaking, it was backdated a day. Technically, I think it went down as right forearm irritation. But his last game was on April 30th. Pitched 2/3 of an inning at Cleveland and did not go well. Came out of that game and found out afterward that he just wasn't right. Pitched a couple of times on rehab with Frisco. Stays 2-2 here on Abreu.
Abreu, not a wild swinger at all. Never overswings. He's just trying to go back through the middle with the ball. 2 strikes probably takes it to an even higher level of trying to make contact.
Martin with a long enough look in that Abreu says, "Uncle." One out here in the 8th. In the 9th, Rangers will have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters: Profar, Mazzara, and Gallo. Two pitch, and this one golfed up in the air out into short left field. Gallo right there, 2 away. All right, taking a look at our Ford probables tomorrow. The opener against the Yankees. Tanaka will have the ball for New York, a 4-2 record, but an ERA approaching 5. Bartolo Colon will have the assignment for the Rangers, making his 8th start. How about that ERA at 2.82?
That's top 10. Top 10 in the American League. Bartolo Colon. That'll be a good challenge for him tomorrow. Face that great Yankee team.
Should be fun to watch. Still, by the way, plenty of good seats available for that series Monday through Wednesday. Abreu takes a strike. Pardon me. Davidson. Davidson has had a tough day. 3 strikeouts, all 3 looking. Takes another strike.
Yeah, Davidson this year has walked 25 times, so he has been patient. A little too patient today, though. Last year he walked 19 times the whole year. This year he's in the top 10 in walks. That's quite a turnaround.
And a hole here, 0-2. And takes outside.
He sees the most pitches per plate appearance in the American League. Over 4.5 pitches per plate appearance. He's probably done that today with the 3 strikeouts.
Good power, 11 home runs this year. Real good year last year. He takes just a little low. 2-2. Of course, of his 11 home runs this year, 7 of them have been at Kansas City. That's a pretty odd little breakdown.
He hit 3 on opening day in Kansas City.
Well, 3-2, so he's worked it back full again. And takes strike 3 called. 4 strikeouts, all looking for Davidson. Yikes. All right, last chance for the Rangers coming up. Profar, Mazzara, and Gallo are due.
Been some nice pitching in this game. Mike Minor gave up a home run in the second to Wellington Castillo on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Then in the third, a little blooper by Leuri Garcia scored 2 runs. Engel and Anderson sliding across the plate. That's the scoring in the game. Rangers have not scored because of that man, Reynaldo Lopez, who pitched a gem today. His best year as a young best game as a young major leaguer. 8 innings, 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. He was in total command today with a 95 to 97 mile an hour sinking fastball. And by the end of the game, a pretty good changeup and a pretty good curveball.
Jace Fry will make his 7th appearance.
He's been pretty good. 7th appearance. He hasn't given up an earned run yet. 7 1/3. Been just about untouchable. 7 1/3. No hits, no runs. He's got a no-hitter going. 10 strikeouts.
Gets us started with a strike on Profar. Profar 0 for 3. A fielder's choice, an error, and the strikeout. He takes outside. 1-1 the count. Rangers need a couple of base runners. Mazzara waiting on deck. Joey Gallo would be due 3rd in the inning. Fly ball out to right field. Thompson toward the line, deeper into the corner, and he reaches up and makes the play. One gone. Hey, Rangers fans, come on out May 24th for an autograph session with Nomar Mazzara and Whataburger at 3204 Town East Boulevard in Mesquite at 10:30 a.m. is when it starts. And while you're there, sign up to be a Whataburger What fan. You could win tickets to an upcoming Rangers game as well as Whataburger for a year. Go to TexasRangers.com/appearances for more details. Boy, Profar just missed sneaking that one in that right field corner for a hit. Now Mazzara, and he'll take low. Whatever shift we've become accustomed to seeing for Nomar Mazzara lately, certainly muted here. Thinking, I gather, on the White Sox side that he would do anything he could right now just to get on base. A home run here, nice as that would be, doesn't solve much of the Rangers' problems. They need a couple of guys out on the bases. As such, you have 2 infielders on the left side. Inside corner, it's 1-2. You see Sanchez and Tim Anderson on that left side. That's darn near a conventional defensive alignment right there. Certainly you would, if you would describe it at all, you would say shading Mazzara to pull. And a swing and a miss. It won't matter. Mazzara strikes out. Throw down to first. Retires him, and there are 2 away. Now the last hope for the Rangers. Joey Gallo 0 for 2 with a walk. The Rangers on the verge of being shut out for the first time this year. Jace Fry, meanwhile, is now retired 24 of the 26 batters he has faced this year. 17 in a row. Never had a major league save, only had 3 in the minor leagues. All were at Double-A last year, and he finds the outside corner for a strike on Joey Gallo. It's a safe spot here, leading 3-0. Rangers held at just 2 hits today. Gallo went a whole 0-2. Struggling White Sox team that had won just 3 home games all year prior to this series. They're a strike away from winning their 3rd in this series. A near miss, 1-2.
a borderline pitch. That went Joey's way that time.
Outside, 2-2. White Sox 9 back of Cleveland in the Central, shooting for their 13th win. Rangers 11 back of Houston in the West, trying to extend the game, and it's a full count. And trying to avoid their 30th loss of the year. Fry's ready, the lefty's pitch, and that one fouled off. Gallo keeps this thing going. Kind of Falefa has come to the on-deck circle, would hit for Ryan Rua should we get there. (3-2). Well, strike 3 call. So Fry, with a perfect 9th inning, earns his first major league save and saves it for Reynaldo Lopez, his first win of the season. And in an afternoon of firsts, it's the first time this year that the Rangers have been shut out. 3-0 our final score here in Chicago. And so the Rangers will say goodbye to the Windy City and head home. Meanwhile, coming up, John Radigan, Mike Bassick, and David Murphy back in the studios to figure this one out for you this afternoon. For Tom Grieve, Emily Jones, and our entire crew, I'm Dave Raymond, inviting you to stay with us. More Rangers coverage right after this.